Other than Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, your testimony in the Senate and here is that according to the evidence you have, the number of other names is 0.
That were charged based on credible evidence.
Well, who are the other names? Give me the other names that weren't charged.
September 17th, 2025, House Judiciary Committee. Jared Moskowitz of Florida had been in the room for the entire hearing. He had watched Patel field questions about the Epstein files for hours. He had seen the deflections, the legal qualifications, the references to court orders and non-prosecution agreements. He came to the microphone with a different approach. He started with a timeline.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin, I want to caution my colleagues on, one-sided violence in this country. We just heard that there were no riots on the right. We're literally sitting in the building where there was a giant riot by supporters of the president, the right. We also heard that only leftists, have said that Trump is a Nazi. In 2016, the current vice president of the United States said, Trump is either a cynical asshole or he's America's Hitler. And so this is the problem. I don't want to have to say this garbage, but you want me to sit here and get painted with one brush, the whole left. No, there are extremes on the left, and there are extremes on the right. And we collectively should tackle that. But to come here and just look at us and say we all support what's going on in the extremes is why we can't solve anything in this building. Director, let me say first, thank you for being here, and my condolences on the loss of your friend. And I'm happy to hear that you want to do more on the social media platforms. It's crazy what's going on the social media platforms. There are so many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie Kirk. Israel assassinated him, right? There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life all day. It is totally rampant. Big names on the right. Candace Owens, right? Talking about how what's been released as far as the dialogue between the perpetrator and his roommate is manufactured by the FBI, manufactured by the administration. It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots, all of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that. What's happening is you see people celebrate Luigi Mangione is a byproduct of all of that. And so if we want to do something, then we should talk about Section 230. We should talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't let foreign governments poison our children's mind. And so I will work with you on that, Director.
I'll work with you on 230 any day.
No problem. So now, that was the good part. I want to take your attention back a second, okay? Breaking news. Kash Patel is nominated to be the FBI director. Dan Bongino is nominated to be the number 2 at the FBI. MAGA celebrates, rejoices, bells are ringing out. The team, Patel, Bongino, that sought out every podcast microphone to talk about the Epstein list. The names are finally going to get released. It begins. They produce white binders. Phase 1 with the podcasters. This is not actually one of them, of course. I made this up. Your name's on it, right? And the names are going to come out. Pam Bondi says the list is on her desk. Then a memo comes out all of a sudden and says, there's no list. Oh, no phase 2. Phase 2 binders never happened. You said the conspiracy theories around Epstein just aren't true. They never have been. And yesterday, in an answer to Senator Kennedy, you said the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. So according to your testimony yesterday and in this committee, according to the evidence the FBI has, the number of names on the list are 0.
No,
0.
The index has been released, and the number of people involved in that trafficking operation were charged in 2008.
Other than Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, your testimony in the Senate and here is that according to the evidence you have, the number of other names is 0.
that were charged based on credible evidence.
Well, who are the other names? Give me the other names that weren't charged.
We are not releasing the names of anyone because the Department of Justice never does that of anyone that didn't have any credible information to attack them.
Let me move forward. The president has, you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his. Okay? The president says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring? Will you be opening that investigation into that?
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, I look forward to that investigation. Am I over? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Here is what just happened. Moskowitz laid out the sequence. Patel nominated. Bongino nominated. MAGA celebrates. The team that sought out every podcast microphone to talk about the Epstein list is now running the FBI. The names are finally going to come out. Then the white binders arrive. Phase 1, a release to social media influencers. Then a memo saying there is no list. Phase 2 never comes. Moskowitz was not being subtle. He was describing a pattern he saw play out in real time. The promises, the anticipation, and then the quiet end of the disclosure process in July when Patel and Bondi released one video and said there was nothing more to see. Then he asked Patel to confirm what the FBI's position actually is. He quoted Patel's own testimony from the Senate the day before. The FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. So, according to the evidence the FBI has, Moskowitz said, the number of names on the list is 0. Patel corrected him. The number of people charged based on credible evidence. That one word, charged, is the entire argument. Moskowitz heard it immediately. Who are the other names? Give me the names that weren't charged. Patel said the DOJ never releases names of people without credible information supporting a charge. But that is a different answer than saying no names exist. There is a gap between these two positions. Patel's position is that the FBI has names in its files, names that came up in the investigation, but those names did not produce evidence that rose to the level of a charge. The FBI's policy, he says, is not to release those names. That may be a legitimate policy, but it means the number is not 0. It means there are names. They just weren't charged. Moskowitz got Patel to say it on the record, not 0. 0 that were charged. The hearing then moved on to a separate question, the document circulating that allegedly bears Trump's signature connecting him to Epstein. Moskowitz asked whether Patel would open an investigation into the Epstein estate for releasing what the president says is a forgery. Patel said, on what basis? Moskowitz said, it's a forgery of the president's signature. That's the basis. Patel said, sure, I'll do it. That exchange is worth noting on its own. The FBI director agreed, in a public hearing, to investigate the Epstein estate for releasing a document the president says is fake. Whether that investigation opens and what it produces is now a matter of record. But the exchange that will matter longer is the one that came before it. The number of names is not 0. The number of names charged is 0. Those are different statements, and for the first time in this hearing, Patel said the second one out loud. Subscribe and turn on notifications. The hearing files covers what's in the record. This is the record.